Hello, fellow Riftbounders. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you all the reasons why I love Riftbound so much. If you're someone completely new to Riftbound who's maybe interested in getting into it, this video should be helpful in terms of giving you some ideas about what to expect with the game. And if you're an experienced Riftbound player who's been playing a long time since launch, then I'd be interested to see your feedback and if you agree with my reasons in this video. So we've whipped out another slideshow. I've got 10 different reasons, things for why I love Riftbound, but as I go through them, I will be talking about the game in general. I will be doing a follow-up video tomorrow when I talk about 10 things that I would like to see improve in Riftbound. I did reach out to one of the Riot members of staff just to say that they think that was okay to do for a video. I don't want to ever upset Riot. I think the Riot have done an amazing job on Riftbound in the first year, and the game's incredible and only getting better. And the numbers and data for interest in the game just show that. So, number one, deck variety. Multiple high-performing decks. At the first regional I went to in Utrecht, that was back in set 3, there was 8 different legends in the top 8. Now, there is a little bit of reason, part of the way that they do the best ofs and the reward system does cater towards that, but even at locals level you don't really ever just see one deck completely dominating, and the only deck really that's ever been crazy high was Draven, and they put bans in to try to fix that. Yi's very good, but I do think the kind of soft rotation should help a bit with that. There's a lot of variety of styles to play as well, so you've got a deck like Diana that's kind of a bit mid-range, bit control, tempo based. Then you've got really swamp aggro decks like Rek'Sai. You've got complete ramp decks. You've got spell heavy decks. You've got unit heavy decks. There's already 4 sets into Riftbound, a really good variety of ways to play. I regularly get people in the comments asking me, oh, I'm from this TCG or I'm new to this game. I really want to try a deck out that's like, does this? Could you help me out? And it's easy for me because I know the game well, but there's just so many options. I can just tell them straight away. As a side note, if you do like these type of videos, tier list, educational stuff, please do consider subscribing to the channel. Helps the channel grow, and I always really appreciate it, and I'll always read your comments and I try to reply to everyone. Legends can be played in different ways. Some legends more than others. So like Jace, for example, has got 2 completely different play styles. You can play him Aurora, or you can play him gear-based. Victor, you can play him almost completely spells, or you can play more units, hybrid spells. Lots of different legends have different ways of playing them. Some are a bit more tied to one, and some are obviously much better at one version than another. It is a card game after all. They are going to have best general ways of playing them, but again, the variety is fantastic. Number 2, the battlefield system. I'm not really experienced in other TCGs, but I've spoken to people who've played lots of TCGs, and I've seen some of them and looked into it before. Like, I know Magic does have lands, but then it's like 20 life and you get down to 0. The battlefields in Riftbound are a really cool system that has lots of levels of strategy. So you obviously pick battlefields that you think either will harm your opponents or suit you. This is a cool new one that we've seen in set 4 that I think you'll start to see more people using. I think the artwork on them is cool. There's a lot of variety in battlefields. When we have started to see some battlefields get a bit too dominant, or they're just a bit broken, or they're just being played too much, such as Aspirant's Climb and Arena's Greatest, Riot have been quick to act, so that's been really good. And it gives Riftbound its own kind of feel with this system, and it links to like Rune Terror Law, some of the champions. I just think it's a very good system. I don't think it's too complicated to understand either. Riftbound as a game has a very high skill ceiling. I will talk about that later in the video, but I think in terms of accessibility and starting to understand, it's not too bad. League of Legends plus Legends. So what I'm saying with this is the link between LoL and their Legends is fantastic. So not all of them are quite as good as some of the others, but like Leona as a legend when is built around stuns. That's what she does in League of Legends, and then she gets buffs. The way that they put like the League of Legends characters into Riftbound and then make them like that is fantastic, and I think works really well in Riftbound. And I think it's one of the things that's brought a lot of fans in. I've played a bit of Legends of Runeterra before, but I've not really been into card games. Riftbound with its League of Legends IP has really drawn me in. The Chosen Champs plus Signatures really generally feel quite great. Super Mega Death Rocket, whilst it's not a particularly powerful signature spell within Riftbound, it's perfect for Jinx and this kind of identity that people have from playing League of Legends for so many years. Some people have been playing it like nearly 20 years now, and then being able to play their favorite characters and their decks or cards in Riftbound is fantastic and will only continue to grow. And I think it's just a really amazing thing about Riftbound. And there's still space for decks to play very differently as well. Yes, you could play. I'm trying to think of an example, but there are certain decks that they're supposed to be played in a particular way based on the legend and the character from League. But with their color combos, you're not just locked into that. The skill expression. Riftbound for me is a quite easy game to understand and be okay at base level, but very hard to master. Top players performing consistently, I should have put. Prismat there, definitely up there in the argument for the best Riftbound player in the world. You've got regular pros, so you've got like Squirtle, Allen, Prismat, Diwali, a lot of the challenger players, who are regularly getting top eights, if not very high performances. Sam D. Sherman got a second on a Rengar who wasn't generally seen as a top legend after he'd already won on Draven. So the top players are getting consistent results. Even at locals level, I tend to find, generally speaking, when I go to a skirmish, I can have a decent idea who will probably make the top cut because they keep doing it regularly. So it's really good to see that the consistency in Riftbound's there. That is a very good sign for the long term of the game that the skill level's good. You don't want a game that's so complicated no one can play it and people feel like the accessibility to even get to a base level it's not there. But you also want a high skill ceiling so top players can express themselves and it makes the competitive scene better. I think Riftbound balances that really well. The game, like I say, still feels accessible. I've taught new friends it and they've started to get after a game or two. There's quite a variety in deck difficulty. So you've got really complicated decks to play like Ezreal, quite a lot of the blue-purple ones tend to be, and then you've got some easier ones like Master Yi, for example. Player interaction. Now, the main TCG I played was not really a TCG, it was more a digital one. It was Legends of Runeterra. After playing Riftbound, I tried Hearthstone out. There's barely any interaction in that, and I just hated it. Hated strong. I like it, but I got to the point where I got fed up with it because there was just no interaction, barely. Riftbound, you're constantly thinking around your opponent. You've constantly got decisions to make. You have to think about what they're doing, and the best players are the ones who can think around their opponent really well. And for me, it's really improved my experience compared to playing Hearthstone or even Legends of Runeterra, which did have decent interaction. I think this is one of the best parts of the game. And with that, you can talk to your opponent, and I think the social aspect's fantastic. Playing around cards like Defy, thinking what they've got in the hand. There's so many cool interactions in Riftbound that I think add to the skill gap but make it fun. Every game generally feels different. Obviously, some decks are a bit more repetitive and some matchups do centre a bit around certain cards, but especially with there being basically 50 legends, there's 49, but there's nearly 50 legends right now. You'll regularly play against different legends, different colour combos, and I mean, that feels really fantastic. Lots of high levels of strategy, lots of different ways of playing. It's really fantastic, and I'm really enjoying how Riftbound's developing as a game, and with every new set, feels like there's a few more staple cards that get added, a few more powerful cards. Makes the skill gap even higher, and it just gives even more deck variety. Sideboarding. This is not something that only Riftbound does, of course. It's in other TCGs. I think the sideboarding, the game's fantastic. Adds more skill expression. Allows you to kind of fix some of the weaknesses of your deck. The skill in terms of when to know when to sideboard, how to build your sideboard. Riot have listened. This is a key thing that they've been really good at, and I think it's one of the things that's helping Riftbound do so well and grow so fast is that they're listening to the community. They put the sideboard to 10. I honestly could see an argument for 12. I'd really like that. It allows you to prepare for weak matchups that your deck might be struggling with. The artwork. This might be the number one thing that I love about Riftbound. I've looked at other TCGs, and I'm not going to call any out, but I think some of their artwork's not very good. I think the artwork in Riftbound is quite comfortably the best in any TCG. like I said, this was my first TCG, but I've looked at lots of other TCGs since and looked at the cards. And maybe I'm biased because I love Riftbound and League of Legends so much, but I think the artwork is just beautiful. The card quality is amazing. And like a card like this, it looks great, but it looks even better in person when I've seen it. Like, I can't even really explain if you've not seen some of these cards in person. They look so much better in person, and a lot of them look amazing online anyway. The card design's amazing. Even a lot of the normal cards are fantastic. I think the only other card game that I've looked at and think the card quality and design's not a mile off is Lorcana. I think the Disney one, very good. But I really love like the card quality and artwork within Riftbound. I think it's amazing. The full art and special cards look incredible, and it really adds to the collectability. I think any top TCG to do really well wants to be playable, collectible, and you can invest in it as well. I think all these three work together and make for a very successful TCG. And the artwork in Riftbound, shout out to the artists. They've obviously taken stuff from League of Legends and Runeterra, but it's really good and I'm really enjoying it. And then you've got, this was really cool in set 4. You've got these over numbers that kind of link together, just looks incredible. I think these have been really good. I hope they do more things like that in the future, but I've really enjoyed that. I'm very excited to see in set 5 the KDA. I'll move my webcam a sec so I'm not like blocking this beautiful imagery. But I'm really excited for set 5 and we get KDA to see how they do them. Communication, the GOAT, Mr. Trick himself. I always forget his title, but he's one of the high up Riot people working on Riftbound. The communication in Riftbound has been fantastic. Like I say, the Riot team equal goated. Shout out Dave Guskin, Trick, Diana D'Amico, Larine from the EU content team. Like so many great people. There'll be plenty that you could shout out, but the communication on this game has been second to none so far. I've played a lot of games. I played FIFA to a very high level. I was a professional player in that. I've got very deep into a lot of games and played a lot of games at high level. FIFA was the one I was a pro at, but played a lot of games for a long time. And the communication I've seen from the Riftbound team has been the best I've seen in a game. Does it mean everything's been perfect? No. Hence, we've still got space to make a video tomorrow talking about improvements we can make. But there's a lot of improvements that they have made already in a year. The game feels great. The community loved the team. I don't know genuinely if I've ever seen a negative comment on the internet about any of the team. I've got nothing bad to say about them. They're just fantastic. I really like them whenever I've met them or talked to them. They're fantastic. They feel involved in the community. You can tell they're passionate about the game, which is what you want to see in people working on it. So this is fantastic. And I think this is one of the main reasons Riftbound is doing so well. And like I said, they've listened to feedback and made improvements. Does it mean they always do what we think they should do? Not necessarily. They have a long-term vision for the game. They know what's coming out in a few sets. Like, I really didn't like that Draven Vanquisher stayed banned. And I don't think he should be banned. I don't understand the logic on keeping him banned. But they explain the bans. They talk through them. We have the state of the game articles. They're fantastic. And I really appreciate what Riot are doing. The community. Things like Liftbound, Rift Baddies, all these different things. There's lots of different things you could shout, but lots of great people within the community, locals and friendly players. I've met a few people. I've played hundreds of games now at locals, and when I went to the regional qualifier, I've met maybe 3 or 4 people who I wasn't a fan of, I will say. But the majority of people I meet, whether it be at locals, even online, and things like TCG Arena, Rift Atlas, even the YouTube comments, most people are really friendly. I think Riftbound has a fantastic community. There's very helpful pro players. I've not encountered a pro yet when I've interacted with them or talked to them that I've had any issue with. They've always been really nice. I met lots of pros at Utrecht, got lots of pictures. They were all really nice. None of them felt like they didn't want to talk to you. Got to talk to quite a few for quite a bit. Some of them, when they saw me again, they like would say hi to me, bump into me and stuff. And I think people in the community are starting to see lots of people they can look up to. I think Riftbound's community is only growing, and there's lots of fantastic content creators as well. I think the content scene's growing. Just from my own channel, I do think I've improved the quality of the videos and I've got better at making videos because this was my first time in a TCG, and I would like to say I've improved. And the feedback you guys give me, the comments, really does mean a lot. Like, my views have drastically increased in the last month, which I think a lot of that is owed to how Riftbound's growing and the content scene in general. And there's a lot of fantastic content creators. There's too many to shout out, really. Accessibility. Product is very accessible. Top tier decks are at a reasonable price. So you can get like $100 for decks that could win meta events. A card like this Akali Silent, she's like 20 cents or something ridiculous, stupidly cheap, and she's one of the best cards in set 4. Decks can be adapted to be cheaper. So yes, you might make a deck a bit weaker, but to perform still well at a local level, you can easily do that. And there's still a great level of chase cards and collectability. I do think the balance isn't perfect, but I think there's a pretty decent balance that you can get product. You don't have to buy boxes if you don't want, but there's some cool, expensive chase cards to go for. So, really like this. I think they're doing an amazing job. I think Riftbound is in a fantastic place. I'm really excited for set 5. I mean, I'm saying that. I'm going to Barcelona on Thursday, so I'm really excited for that. If there's any type of content you want to see me do while I'm at the event, do let me know. If you're going to the event, make sure you say hi to me if you're there. I'd love to speak to you all. The future of Riftbound looks great. I did a video on that a few weeks ago. The new sets look fantastic. The products that are releasing, please, Riot, please give me the SKT bundle. I just think Riftbound's doing so well. It's a pleasure to be a small part of that community, the content scene. Appreciate all of you tuning into the videos, who reach out to me. It does mean a lot. Hope you enjoyed this video. Tune in tomorrow where we're talking about some potential improvements that could happen to Riftbound to make it an even better game. See you guys in the next one. Peace.